How are we going, everyone? Fruit harvesting season, folks. We're at the plum tree and I'm picking, have a look at this. Have a look at my fruits. You like that? Not bad for the first, well, it's not the first, probably the third harvest, but we've got a lot on the floor, so don't leave them on the floor. Make sure you pick up your fruit, whatever fruit it is, especially apples and pears, codling moth. Here, these plums are falling off the tree because we've got other problems going on here on our property. It's called rats. That's what's eating it. So you see the chewing marks? If you see chewing marks like that, scratch marks, they're the teeth basically getting into it. So that's had it. Here's another one. I mean, these rats are, our rats are really well fed over here in Lethbridge, folks. Everything's organically grown, no chemicals, no fertilizers, no nasties. So they're getting a good feed out of here. You'll find other ones, look, I'm gonna pick these up afterwards, but now that we're on the topic of being pecked, you've got bird holes. So the beak of the bird will puncture a hole into it, slight scratch, so that's different. So you can distinguish the difference between a rat and a bird. Puncture marks like that. See that there? They go to hit it. They could also be hailstones because we had a lot of hail here. More importantly, when we're growing them, do they taste any good? I like my plum really soft and juicy and mushy. This is about 80% there. It's a little bit soft on this side, and all the good ones have been eaten by the rats. Oh yeah, spot on. If you're not growing fruit in your garden, folks, what are you waiting for? Get yourself a tree, stick it in the ground, stick it in a pot. You don't need a big area. Don't look at this crazy stuff that I do here. We've got the space so we can plant whatever we want and trial lots of things. And that's 90% of the time for me, what it is trials, folks. I'm testing different ways, different situations, different environments, different climates, and seeing what succeeds, what doesn't. And in here, but along the journey, let me go back to that topic. Along the journey, we also pass on vital information about maintenance of gardens and what to look out for, pests and diseases, all in the season as well. So we're at the stage now that we're harvesting. Now, some trees have completed their harvest. Your apricots, I reckon some early nectarines will be done as well. Your plums definitely are at that point now where you're going to be picking all the fruit off. And straight after the harvesting of your fruit, about a week or two later, it's time to prune. Take all the summer growth off. Have a look at this tree. This tree was at arm's reach in early springtime. So this is where it started from, and it's spread up to there. If I don't cut those off, this is just going to keep growing a metre every year. Come on the other side, where we've got two grafts on here, and that one that didn't produce any fruit. This is the other half of the tree. Double graft. This gave me one or two fruit on here, but I can't see them. I think they've fallen off. It's not here anywhere. It was over here somewhere before. And you can see just through the other side on here, where the other half of the tree, look at the fruit on there. Have a look at all those plums. They're hanging like bunches of grapes. It's crazy, isn't it? So once you've done your harvest, because this one didn't have any fruit, we can cut it back down. Summer prune means basically cut it all back down to your arm's reach, you know, a little bit shorter than what you can reach. Bring it all down like this, because it's going to grow straight back up again. It needs the next 6 months to settle down, stop growing, and not react into a growth spurt as it would in springtime if you were to prune it in winter. These are deciduous trees. They grow flowers, leaves, fruit every year. And depending on how you fertilize and how you prune will give you the outcome of a successful crop or, you know, a mediocre crop. We found out, you know, in the recent years by pruning in summertime after you harvest, your tree is not going to go into a growth spurt next springtime. It's got 6 months to go dormant, and then when it wakes up in springtime, it already has reacted and recovered from the hard summer prune we're doing now. So prune hard now to remove the height and take out the center. All this in the middle here is no good, folks. You need the sunlight in the middle. That's how I want it. I'm cutting it right down to open it up in the middle and bringing the whole tree around the outside. Whether it's a plum, apple, pear, it really doesn't matter. They all need to be pruned 2 or 3 weeks after your harvest and fertilize. Now, folks, I'm going to use our superfood. Now, we've got the two here, and while we got them here, let's talk about this a little bit. We've got the frass, which is the larvae frass, which is castings, and what you see here, all that there, is the exoskeletal or the shell of the larvae. You may look at them and say they're grubs. Well, they are. It's for a specific type of grub. Now that goes into the castings, which is this fine stuff here. Now that there is made from food waste. You know, fresh food waste that was not used, going to be thrown out into landfill, turned into that with the castings or the shell here as well. That triggers the plant to think there's a pest in the garden, and it puts it into defense mode, which is a good thing because it starts to develop stronger cell wall structure and more resistant to disease and insect attack. Now that's the fine form, and this is the pelletized form, and both of these have got black grit into them. So they come with the black grits for a stabilizer and a balance of nutrients to be released into your garden. It's an all-rounder, wonderful organic fertilizer called superfood. We're going to put a small amount of this around the plum tree. You don't want to feed it too much because it's going dormant, but you want to give it a little bit of energy to store for springtime, which is around the corner. But you will also be feeding in August, September again, just before they come into bloom. So a couple, well actually 1, 2, 3, 4 handfuls around this is all you really need to put. You can apply more, but less is more, better. So the superfood is available, folks, on our website. It's a trial period that we're going at the moment, so we've got it at less than wholesale price. Honestly, give it a go. Trial it out in your own garden on pot plants. This is great for the ground and garden beds, and the other fine stuff I reckon is good for pot plants and planters, larger planters. Put it around your plants. There's a lot of plants that are coming into bloom now, so they need a good feed, and this is 100% organic, safe for your garden. Prune your trees after you've harvested, cut them down to arm's reach and thin them out again later in winter when all the foliage has fallen off. The reason this hasn't got any leaves, folks, is because the wind has destroyed it, but it's still very much alive on top, so we're going to bring it back down and clean it up in winter as well. Feed a little bit now, trial out our superfood, great specials running there. You're going to love it. You'll be one of the first in Australia to get your hands on this, and you're going to enjoy it, well, your garden's going to enjoy it. Put some around your garden and enjoy the beautiful, delicious, look, I've got pears and plums to pick. Pears and apples, but I've got my plums now. And there's another 5 or 6 varieties in the orchard. Plant one in your garden, enjoy, and keep whatever you do in your garden natural and safe for you and the family. From me, Vasily Maresi, that's vasilisgarden.com.